Hello there, I'm going to be showing you how to play the Reaper. This is kind of how I would play it. I would probably play it something like this. Right? Very cool little progression. So the idea here is we are taking the A minor key center, and we are descending on that sort of idea. And it's very common. For example, right, that kind of idea. And also right, Stairway to Heaven and so many other songs kind of use this idea. So we're going from A minor to G to F to E. Before I get into the chords, let me show you so there's like 3 different layers going on for the acoustic guitar. The first sounds like this. Okay, and that's kind of the sort of little melody hook happening in the intro. And what I'm doing there is we are using these notes. We're using the 8th, 6th, and 5th fret of the B string, and then the 5th fret of the G. Okay, and what I do there is I slide 6 to 8 on the B, and then play the 5th fret of the G right after it. And then you do it again. So you do it twice. And then the third time you descend 8, 6, 5 on the B, 5 on the G. So it sounds like this. And what makes it important, or what makes it sound cool, is knowing when to play the notes and kind of holding back or creating a little melody. So that's exactly what's happening here. So it sounds like, right? And you have to get that timing right, because that's kind of what does it. And then it repeats again. And then this time you just go 8, 6, 5 on the B. Right? So all together it would sound something like this. Layer number 2 has this little kind of that sort of sound. It's just like a little arpeggio in kind of like C major. At least that's kind of how I hear it, because A minor and C are related. They are relative major and relative minor. And here what I do is I play 7, 8, 7 on the high E, 8 on the B, 9 on the E. And it only happens once, and you really have to be listening for it. And it just happens this one time on the descending part, the first descending part that goes like this from layer 1. So it goes something like that. And then lastly are the actual chords. And what I would play is really just the bar chords. And I'll show you a few variations of how I would play it. The way I would play it is with bar chords kind of going like, and I use my thumb a lot, okay? When it comes to chords like this, it's very imperative, right, to learn how to play these chords using your thumb. Because the thumb, what happens is that if you're doing regular bar chords like this, your fingers can't really move too far. They can't really do much. But once you use your thumb, all of a sudden you can sort of add extensions. You can move the fingers downward, right, instead of just upward. So you can even go doing stretches like this, right? Crazy things like that. And so using the thumb is kind of what I would do. So for the first chord, I would do an A minor, sort of like an A minor 11 with an open E on top. So it'd be, yeah, just an A minor 11, really. Really emphasizing that kind of high E on top. And you can hear I'm playing every single string. Okay, so that's the first chord I would use. It'd be 5th fret of the low E, open A, 5th fret of the D and the G, and then the 3rd fret of the B, and then open high E. So all together, I would use that chord. So I might do something like just using finger picking, and then doing a little bit of palm muting. And then going down, I would go to this G with the D sort of sound. So I would use my thumb on the low E, 3rd fret, 2nd fret of the G, 3rd fret of the B, and I would play kind of just the open D, the G and the B, and the low E strings. It would sound like that. And then the last, or the 3rd chord would be a F, kind of with an A minor 7 with an F on the bottom, which is really just like an F major kind of 7 sound. So I would use 1st fret low E, 2nd fret of the D, open G, 1st fret of the B, open high E. So it would sound like this. And then lastly, I would just use a regular old E7 chord, which is just 2nd fret of the A, 1st fret of the G. Everything else is open, so you just fret 2 notes. So all together, if I were to play it, it would sound sort of like this. Right, and then the other cool thing is that you can do what's called a tritone sub, which is that you take this E7, and the idea is that before your root minor chord, if you go down half a step, just down 1 fret, you can use what's called a diminished chord that will resolve into your root note. And it's a very cool little thing you can do. So I would do something like this. Right? And you can hear it right there. You can do something like that. You do A flat diminished to B flat or B diminished. Resolve to A minor. So I would do something like a right, that kind of idea. So that's a more complicated way that I would play it. And you can see I'm just doing those chords. I'm not adding notes or taking away notes. I'm just using my fingers to kind of arpeggiate the chords a little bit. The easier way is using, or the easiest way, let's do the easiest way, is just doing the open chords. So it'd be 2nd fret of the D, 1st fret of the B. The A string downward, all of that is open. It would sound like that. That's the first chord. The second chord is just a good old regular G major open chord. And the way I play it is 3rd fret of the low E, 2nd fret of the A, and I bar the 3rd fret of the B and the G, or the B and the high E. Like that. It's a fuller sound, sounds cooler. Then I would play an F, just a regular F chord, which is 3rd fret of the D, 2nd fret of the G, bar the 1st fret of the B and the high E. That, and then you just play the E7 I showed you earlier. second fret of the A, first fret of the G, everything else is open. Like that. That's the easiest way. Right, but you kind of miss a little bit of that thing. But if you're going to be singing along or doing something else, that's kind of the other way. The alternative to that is you just stay on the A minor 7 and use your thumb to descend. I'll show you what I mean. So play the A minor 7. Now with your ring finger at the 3rd fret of the low E, then use your thumb, remove that 3rd fret, go to the 1st fret of the low E, and now go to E7 as you normally would. And if you notice, A minor 7 and E7 have the same exact shape, but they're on different strings, okay? So I would do something like a... Right, that kind of idea. I would still even add in that A flat diminished. Right. So there you go. There's 3 different ways. The hard way, the easy way, and then the alternative to the easy way. Right? And each one has their pros and cons. It just depends on what kind of flavor you want. So there you go. Keshi has some pretty cool tunes, has some pretty cool songs. Very R&B-ish inspired, soul-inspired kind of thing. So it sounds cool. If you have any questions or have any requests, let me know. That way I can do them. Have a good one.